Hey, Veteran Nation fans. So, I talk to veterans all the time about various different things, and whenever they find out that the National Guard is not guaranteed the right to a court martial, much like I was the first time that I found out, they get very shocked that that's the case. And it's because in the military, your court martial is your trial by jury. And the states that don't allow it, they're telling you that uh, they can take actions against you for crimes and find you guilty of a crime, and you are not being found guilty by a jury of your peers. That's a problem. That's a major, major problem. And the fact that this is going on, I think, is absolutely disgusting. And I only found this out through the case of Sergeant First Class Bailey, which I've talked about several times. And, I think what was done to her is absolutely and totally disgusting. I think every veteran should be fighting for every single military member, to include the National Guard, that they should have all the rights as the rest of us. I don't see National Guard as being that much different. I know the VA considers them differently. I have a problem with that. Me and TC on the show, as you guys have known, we've supported the Defend the Guard movement, which would be a law that says you cannot send the Guard in any foreign war unless war has been officially declared, not authorization of military forces or anything like that. No, you actually would have to declare war, and I think that is important, and I think that's something that we should do. The National Guard is still fairly a new thing. It's only roughly 100 years. I know people are going to be like, oh, it's actually this many. It's roughly 100 years old. There's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of gaps that I'm seeing in the ways that the National Guard is treated. And I've served with National Guard units. I don't have anything against them. I think it's a very noble way of people to defend their country and their state. I don't think it should be determined to be anything different than the rest of us who serve in the military. And that will include a jury of your peers. If you're being held to the UCMJ as a standard, you should have that right. And I don't think it would be that hard. I mean, every base has every state has a military base in it. Now, I'm not saying that the National Guard has to be every member of that jury, but definitely military members, people who understand and live by the UCMJ. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's the way it should be. We hold each other to the same standards. And the Constitution, applies to all of us. And how this is not happening, to me, seems like it's a clear violation of the Sixth Amendment. A right to a speedy trial, right to a jury of our peers. I don't see how they can get around this. So I would like to see a lot more veterans realizing that not every National Guard unit has the basic protections of being an American. I think it's ridiculous. Like, it just does not make any sense to me. Someone please make it make sense. To me, it doesn't. The UCMJ is law. The Uniform Code of Military Justice. It is a law. So if I'm going to be prosecuted for breaking that law, I should have the right to say, no, a jury has to decide. And the fact that this is not happening, it's very hard for me to comprehend. And I think when I've talked to other veterans, I don't think they necessarily believe me. I'm going to keep talking about the case of Sergeant Bailey, because I think that's a prime example why we need these basic freedoms. I would like to see someone in the National Guard, hopefully, take one of their cases all the way up to the Supreme Court and let the Supreme Court say, no, you absolutely require that Sixth Amendment right. It's so ridiculous to me. I mean, if you're not going to prosecute them for the UCMJ and you're going to prosecute them in normal court, you would have the rights that you would in normal court. And then you have the National Guard saying, oh, no, that's too burdensome. Really? Our basic rights are too burdensome? Really? To me, I just find it's so difficult to comprehend. This is a basic thing of being an American. A basic thing. And I know I am completely disgusted by it, and you should be too. And if you're not, I would question about you. Are you okay with people's rights being violated? What other rights should they give up? Their Second Amendment? Their First? Do you not respect those? The Fifth? That's it's a pretty crazy thing out there. But yeah, I'm going to be posting more and more about this. I'm not going to give it up. And it's an easy fix. It's an easy fix. All Congress has to do is pass a law and say, no, every state shall pass a law ensuring that its National Guard members receive a Sixth Amendment right to a jury of their peers. That's what it should be. So, and I don't think this is controversial. I mean, you guys tell me. Am I crazy? You tell me in the comments. Has Skipper lost his mind? To me, this is the fact that, a bureaucrat, an administrative bureaucrat gets to decide whether or not you broke the law and then impose a sentence upon you. Like, that is un-American. It is downright un-American. It is disgusting that it happens in this country. Like, what the hell are we doing here, people? What are we even doing? I mean, if that's the case, then, we might as well just start putting up gulags. Because that was the one thing that set us apart, is that, no, we had this legal process, and we were going to follow this legal process. To me, it's just crazy. I don't know. But I think more and more veterans, I think people just don't know. So please share and spread this around. Send this to veterans that you know and be like, hey, are you aware that the National Guard does not have a Sixth Amendment right? It's crazy to me. So thank you guys for being here. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.